Welcome to your Thrive Forward Immersion Package Session Training number 3. I am Laura Ivonne, founder of Thrive Lotus, and I'm super happy that you made it this far because that means you have completed Session 1, the Resilient Spirit, Session 2, the Burnout Proof Body, and now Session 3, Developing a Future Fit Mind, Strategic Leadership with AI. Today, we are going to learn about cognitive load and the art of focus for vision and presence. My goal by the end of today is that you are ready to jump out of that hamster wheel. So let's begin. The agenda today is going to cover cognitive overload, brain bandwidth, and the strategic AI integration. Also, we're going to talk about the blueprint traits of futuristic mindset, AI fluency, and tech confidence, ethical decision making by integrating our yoga principles for strategic focus. And at the end, I want you to walk away with your strategic leadership plan you can implement in a weekly and quarterly basis. Let's dive in. Cognitive load and brain bandwidth. These are two different concepts that sometimes we misunderstand. So that's what I just want to I spent a couple of minutes to discuss the definition of them. So the cognitive load is the amount of mental effort that your brain is using to process information, making decisions, and staying focused. The higher load is slower thinking, more mistakes, and fatigue. So this is if you think as a processor, as a computer, this is the processor. This is what keeps it going. And the brain bandwidth is the brain's ability or capacity to handle all those tasks and information at a given specific moment. When your bandwidth drops with the stress, then you fall into that context switching, and we need to protect our bandwidth a lot to work smarter. That's why I wanted to mention it, because it's important that we protect both our cognitive load and our bandwidth. And if we keep talking about that analogy, this is how I could picture the logic and the analogy, the comparison. If we keep talking about that analogy, this is the photo that I came up for the analogy, because I will say it again. We can have the best tools, the best tech, but it's not about only using it. It's being mindful and with intention. And if we do not understand and do not have the capacity to filter out the extra cognitive load, or we keep taking on bandwidth, then even that we have AI, we are not going to be successful, because we are just gonna do more and keep working, not smarter, but not even smarter, right? So just imagine that AI is the extra chip, the extra memory RAM that you are attaching to your brain to augment and delegate those tasks. So you can reduce that capacity and processing capacity for you to allow to do more. But again, you have to do the two things. You need to practice limiting and working on your cognitive load, and you also need to practice to protect your bandwidth. There are statistics, specifically from McKinsey, where they talked about the potential of managers only to implement AI in their role. In tasks like meetings, scheduling emails, preparation for workshops, and strategic work, they believe that they can save between 9 to 12 hours a week. That's a whole day. This is a study from McKinsey from 2024, the last time I looked at it. So it is very interesting to see that even we can understand and use AI to free up our time. But guess what? In that same study, they say that only few managers are the ones that are use it strategically and for good. The other ones are burning out and overwhelming because they are taking more workload. They are not repurposing the time to be strategic. That's why we call it the strategic AI integration. Now, there is no denial that if you use AI, you're going to have a return on investment. And the return on investment we're going to look at today is to free up that mental clutter and free up that mind so you can concentrate and focus more in things that matter, that you mindfully and intentionally decide that what are important to you. I will also like to talk about the myth of multitasking, because you think that you are doing more, but you are actually No, multitasking really doesn't exist. It's not multitasking. Multitasking is switching tasks. So there are studies made by the American Psychological Association that multitasking reduces 40% of the productivity. It also, like we spoke about cognitive load, it also impairs and messes up with the cognitive function in your brain because it doesn't know what you're doing. Are you trying to analyze data, or are you writing emails? Are you looking at a training, or are you working on a presentation? So that is also very, very interesting. Of course, also multitasking increases stress because you feel like you are not completing any of them, any of the 2 or 3 or 4 tasks you're trying to do. And well, unfortunately, it also reduces the quality of your work. Now, I wanted to mention another couple of studies that were from this researcher company that it was a survey more than a study about the information overload. That information overload and the lack of focus in managers is the top one concern that they have for being successful and doing their job effectively. Those are the 2 concerns that managers have and express. It is very important that you understand that when you think you are multitasking, you are probably just switching tasks in a speed very fast. And another insight I can give you, because you know that I like to provide some data behind of what I share, is that there is this other study from McKinsey that expresses that 94% of executives are aware of Gen AI, but they underestimate how many of the employees are using it. In this one, that it's from 2024, for every executive, 3 times more employees use it. And this applies as well for the managers. So for every manager that uses AI, 3 more direct reports will use it. If you don't use AI, at least 3 employees might be using it and you are not aware of. Executives know that AI exists, but they are not enabling and training their managers and their employees to use it for business, for workflows, and for their organization. But what is really, really important is to see that it is a topic that is trending, that it's important, that it has come and changed our lives and the way we work. And AI fluency and the confidence you need to feel when you are in any workplace these days is essential for modern leaders. It is not only to help you with your workload and avoid and prevent burnout, but it is also to maintain your competitive advantage. Managers that do not embrace AI in their day-to-day, they won't be able to support their employees, their team members, to also implement and use AI. So you can imagine that this is a very interesting topic. And the reason why I bring this to your attention is because AI has changed and accelerated so fast. It was not the same thing at the beginning of last year than at the end of last year. And now we're starting a new year, and every time models and companies and startups are growing. So it's very important that you learn about it and embrace it because it's something that it's here to stay. I would like to spend a minute to explain where are we in our yoga framework for the thriving AI leader. In the session training number 1, we cover the ethical integrity and the self-mastery, which was our purpose and ethical decision-making, aligning to our values and being that the motivation for our day-to-day activities and decisions. Then in the second training, we spoke about the burnout-proof body, where we cover operational presence, energy management, and a little taste on digital discernment, which was when we talk about self-care and some of the activities that we recommend you to do in order to manage that energy and keep that sustained performance. In the session today, we're going to be focusing on a strategic focus and in intuitive vision. The last session, that is our live masterclass, is going to be the integration of all of this. Why is focus and vision so important? Well, you have in your blueprint, you have the 8 traits for future fit leadership. Today, with this focus and vision part, we are gonna be talking about the futuristic mindset trait and the AI fluency and tech confidence. Why is this important and related? Well, We spoke about already the cognitive load challenges that managers and generally people have. But us as managers, we are so overwhelmed by data, distractions that reduce really our brain bandwidth and really blocks our ability for correct decision making. Those are the two big concerns that managers face these days and that we need to consider. So when we develop those traits, we are able to confront them. Now, when we think about integrating AI, we are going to learn how to use AI strategically to free up our mind for high-level strategic work. Then we mentioned the importance of why AI fluency and tech confidence is essential for success, for competitive advantage, and to avoid burnout. And last but not least, without the bandwidth and the cognitive load free in your brain, you won't be able to move from reactive to strategic, and you are not going to be able to be that futuristic vision and mindset because you're going to be caught up in the day-to-day operational stuff. A future fit mind marries cutting-edge AI strategies with timeless focus techniques and makes lasting impact. So these are the 4 reasons why it's very important that we understand and integrate a strategy and vision in our leadership. And as I love to share, what are your key wins and immediately takeaways? So number 1, I'm going to share practical tips for cognitive load management. Then we're going to have a wellness personal firewall. We're talking about software and talking about computers. So our personal firewall, walk away with that established strategic leadership plan that you can implement weekly or fortnightly or quarterly, right? Whatever frequency you believe you can do depending on your goals. Okay, let's get excited. I'm super excited. I wanted to put this image on. We're finally jumping out of the hamster wheel. So here we're gonna talk about some of the tips for cognitive load management because we live in a world that is full on and that is digital 24/7, so we need to be very mindful and have intention to what we do every day with our time and with our resources. Tip number 1, concentration. I'm going to introduce you to the concept of dharana, which is just concentration. In yoga, dharana is the practice of holding the mind on a single point. That's why you see this lady meditating, because that's before meditation, we need to practice concentration. And to practice concentration, you need to be able to stay still and hold that mind in a specific focal point. How do we translate this to leadership? We have a path, we stay in that path. Regardless the distractions, we are going to be focused and concentrated on where are we going. These are tips that are going to help you boost your concentration and get the outcome that you look for to reduce that cognitive load or manage it better. Number 1, I know we are super addicted to our emails. I know we just wake up, phone, what email? We go to bed. We are going to stop that right now. We are going to allocate specifically what I like to call inbox 15 time boxing. So we're going to spend no more than 15 minutes each morning scanning and sorting the emails so we can boost efficiency and limit distractions. Then you can use AI email prioritization. You can use AI filters. I think Google has it. There are already other tools. But if you have Copilot license, you can use Copilot to help you prioritize those emails. You can highlight which ones are urgent, which ones you can delegate, which ones you snooze, and the less important ones just put them on the side when it's time to check the emails again. You're going to also use AI for assisting drafting of those emails. Leverage AI as much as you can. We have, I've shared some prompts last session where we are going to using AI to draft emails, summarize and that. But AI can help you to draft those responses, especially when you have to summarize long of email threads, because it's just, like 10 pages of a story there. So you can ask AI to summarize that, propose a response, and then you just validate the response and check what that is doing. The next step that you are going to do is you're going to close those emails after those 15 minutes. And you're going to allocate 90-minute time blocks for focus and deep work. Nothing gets distracted. No emails, no chats, no nothing. You're going to dedicate then 90 minutes to make sure you are concentrating and doing what you said you were going to do. The feeling after you've done the first two deep work focus. Amazing. Now, actually, if you check in Teams, you can put in focus mode, and when you use AI from Teams and Microsoft, it proposes you to block in your calendar focus time, and it blocks your calendar, puts do not disturb, and there are no notifications and calls that come your way. That's the reason. They have already automated some of that focus for you to do deep work and strategic work. So use those tools that are there available. Let's talk about the wellness personal firewall, because this is another concept from our yoga framework that I absolutely love. It's called PRATYAHARA. What it means is that you are going to intentionally block all the noise around you to protect your mental clarity and connect with your intuition. Here is where the vision becomes super important. I shared before, we have so many distractions, noise, background, office, like it is just so overwhelming. So by practicing this so-called personal firewall, what the firewall does is stops for things to come in, right? And then you live in your bubble. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to build your own firewall from all the distractions. That email notification, that call that you were not planning to have. Protect your bandwidth. Protect what comes into your brain. Protect that cognitive load. The more you practice this protection, the easier it's going to get, the more clarity you are going to have, and the more strategic and visionary you are going to become. Here are some ideas for building your own firewall. Please use whatever it works for you. You can start from 3 minutes meditation. It's very, very, very powerful. You can start from 3, then increase to 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes per day, depending on this, if this works for you or not. Please turn off phones while sleeping. We charge them anyway, right? So turn it off. Don't have your phone visible during a meeting. Please don't put it in there, because what it says is, I'm here, but I'm not here. This is about presence. Now, also, there are a lot of wearables these days. If your phone rings, or well, it's in silence, but you can actually see who is calling, then, but you can look at who is calling and if it's urgent and if you need to leave the room, right? Especially when you are presenting, that is very, very important. Tip for your personal firewall is to listen to music. You don't want any other noise that is just your music, so you can concentrate and listen what you like to enjoy. There is sound healing, there is concentration music, there is focus music, or if you feel like you need an energy boost or motivation, just put the music that feels right for you. Take away everything of what you are thinking. Change that mood, change that mindset in that moment. Music can help you disconnect from everything that you are going through. Your thoughts, your emotions. Please try aromatic candles. Use those resources to help you connect and to distract from what's happening around you. Because when you take the time to acknowledge, oh, that candle smells so nice, or this is relaxing, that takes you out of any worry of everything what you're doing. That's helping you with the distractions, right? Another personal firewall that I recommend you to is to connect and talk to your loved ones. Be present. Please be present. When you're driving, be present. Be focused, concentrated where you are going. When you are at home and when you are cooking, please think of what you are cooking, smell while you are cooking, enjoy the process. And when you are having dinner at the table, sit down and be with your family, with your loved ones, with your kids. And if you are by yourself, enjoy the time with yourself. Be happy, connect with your own self. Enjoy every taste, every smell that you are, because that connection helps with your intuition. Another way to protect that personal firewall, especially when you are doing, let's say if you have an important personal event or something, appear offline in Teams or Slack, whatever platform you are using, because just the fact that you have it on, the notifications keep coming. So just appear offline if you want to. Don't get any messages, don't get any notifications. Then in your 15 minutes, when you want to check your email, check your notifications. Truly, 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 this helps to clear your head, to manage that brain bandwidth and that cognitive load. We're observing and getting everything everywhere all the time. Protect it. Please protect it. Another tip that you can use, which is out of the office messages. I've seen some people use for taking their kids. They will pick up their kids, so they will say unavailable for the next out of the office 30 minutes away. People that says out for lunch, people that says out for a meeting, like people put many, they use the out of the office to use that communication and are with that. We have focus mode on the phone. Here is your AI prompt for today and your tip. Use AI as external processor. It's an attachment, I call this the ICE framework. This is for summarizing big documents or data. And you can use AI to synthesize 50-page reports into key takeaways. It says choices, generate 3 diverse scenarios, optimistic, pessimistic, realistic. Use the AI to draft plot or a response on the next big idea. So here is your prompt. I am uploading data report, whatever, and you attach that, and you put that attachment. Extract the 3 most critical risk for my department and 2 opportunities for innovation on my leadership purpose. And then you're going to put the leadership purpose statement we did in the session 1. AI is going to give you the ICE responses. The strategic leadership plan. Practical time, takeaway. There you can have a book, a journal, your laptop, a Word, an Excel, wherever you want to do it. But the secret of this is to commit to it. This is what we're going to plan, and this is the layout we're going to have. If you want in 1 page or in 2 pages like a journal, in the left side, you're going to have your weekly review. You're going to have your days. In the right side, you're going to have your strategic priorities and your quarterly strategy, or weekly or fortnightly, however you decide how you can do it. And please just write down, what did you achieve that day? And at the end of the week, review if you deliver what you plan to do, and do an autopsy. What happened on that day? What happened on that week that distract you from achieving your goal that week, or your task, or your strategy, or your focus that, and then plan again and adjust. This is a reiterative process. This is what you will have the weekly review that is going to focus on outcomes, learnings, and setting priorities for effective process. You're going to prioritize first strategic work, then the noise or whatever comes your way. This will also help you to stay tracking your productivity. A quarterly strategy review. Make sure what are you meeting in the quarter, what you are, in risk or not delivering, and protect your time and your projects. For our Thrive Forward program members, we are going to develop their own customized, specialized for what they're actually want to do during the program. Let's just wrap up now. We develop the mindset that embraces AI to enable leaders to manage their cognitive load and complexity. We understand that, and we understand why it's very important. We know that AI helps us to improve strategic decision-making and clarity. Add mindful leadership practices like mindfulness, meditation, and all those what we decided in our wellness personal firewall to build that resilience and support our focus and the connection to ourselves and to our vision. Today, you integrated AI with ancient wisdom techniques to cultivate future-ready strategic leadership and a visionary presence. As I like to finish every session, here is the quote for today. Deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. Thank you very much for giving me the time today, and I can't wait to see you in the live masterclass.